Alright, welcome back to Aizamk versus Routeline. We're through to game number 2 here in the qualifier number 4 for Kings of the Old World. Aizamk going Maltese and Routeline going Italians. So they've got to pick a DLC civ each. They could have played a mirror or have flipped the civs up if they wanted. But either way, they've got to play one of these 2 new civs. So we've got Routeline here in the red trunks. On Italians, he's already gone for that early market, making use of that architect and his free building. Aizamk going for the trading post.
Yes?
The beauty of the architect, he's allowing a lot of free building and access to this early market. Aizamk going to go for XP because he can try and get an early German tongue. Getting a bit of wood right now. He might be able to fit in 3 settlers and German tongue. See if he can do so. He gets off to a heck of a start. Routeline's even adding in Great Coat early on here. Probably could have spent the resources on placer mines or... I suppose he doesn't have the wood or the gold yet. He's not likely to be attacked early on. He's already able to add steel traps. He's going to ship 3 villages. Just got the wood to add in the house. Don't actually gather any more. The German tongue. I do really like it though. It gives you a free commandery and settler wagons and allows production of up to 6 settler wagons. So those guys effectively are a double villager. And you can train them alongside your normal vill production. Out of a building that is otherwise your stables crossed with a tower. So it's like a stables blockhouse. And it comes into play in other ways for Malta because of the Wigner Court constructions, which allows for bonus gathering around defensive structures. Routeline adding another house. So we look at going for a trading post at the back here. Or maybe start adding some of his Lombards or a Basilica. So he's gone for capitalism over going for advanced politicians. So Routeline now it's going to age up at Aizamk's. Already got his on the way. Getting control of these little line of sight posts here. Could be quite nice, even if you don't intend to actually take the actual house, which you can actually do remotely now at the push of a button. Man, hooray for automation. I'm getting a market outside of his base, putting it over here on the other side of this little cliff, so of the little valley. So he wants to possibly start luring the herd? No. He might be going for a proxy base here. Try and deny the gold and the herd there for his opponent. So you can really get control of all this part of the map, which would be quite solid for him. I'll leave him exposed here up the guts on the map, but at the same time, sort of a natural wall off anyway. Not the smallest of rush distances, but not the largest. It would be incredibly small if not for all these little cliffs and shit in the way. That trading line. But let's not delve into the what ifs. Let's look at the here and now, guys. But that player's aging up. Croatian company on the way for Routeline, so he's going to get a good number. Cavalry with the Krabat, very, very strong. Aizamk going to get pikeman production straight away out of the double hospitals here. He's going to just ship 2 sets of wood cards. He's got the shitloads of food as well, so he can really bump up that production. So he's going to get double pike production on the way. Possibly look at adding a tower here so he can just safely gather from here for now.
Ready.
Using the explorer to figure out what's going on, but Routeline, for now it's just playing fairly passively. He's going to add a Lombard, waiting for that Croatian company, and he can have the raiding advantage because Aizamk's not defended at all at home, and he's going to have a wonderful mix of units here. Chavone's be a nice skirmisher unit. So Pavel might not go down here just yet. It's a lot of pikes, but at the same time Krabat, really solid range cavalry that gains veterancy. So they gain a slight health boost as they get some kills. The pikes now on top of the skirmishers at the moment, but Aizamk for now is going to have to flee. Routeline does have a nice mixed force to defend against what he's been throwing at him so far. Aizamk having to send a bunch of crossbows to contend with the skirmishers. Aizamk getting Wignacourt constructions, that shipment I mentioned. More Krabat now being trained. Now a little Lombard for Routeline. I don't think he's actually opted to dump any resources into the Lombard just yet, because it can trickle resources from one to another. Instead he's using it for that Krabat production. So the crossbows do get a nice Vil kill. At the same time, Aizamk doesn't want to throw the army away. But the Lombard being added now for Routeline. He's going to ship Monte di Pieta, so it's going to put 700 coin into these, and he's actually put some food in to trickle back into coin and wood. On top of that, he's going to start producing some Krabat. Aizamk for now is shipping coin. Looks like he might be going to age up. Just try and keep the pressure on for now. This cavalry is really solid because they do get so much extra health. Not sure if they really get anything in the way of extra damage, but it is a nice little boost to them. And on top of that, they are ranged cav, so they really aren't easy for the pikes to take down, and also trade quite well against the crossbows, who are quite trashy compared to them. So Aizamk going to try and go for a commandery, but Routeline is now looking to push out with this really impressive cav count, so this might not work out well for Aizamk. He's going to lose commandery by the looks of things. His army is here to support this, and Routeline has left all the skirmishers at home, so he can't actually afford to stick around in a straight up fight, I don't think. But there's going to be a lot of good pressure because it's slowing down Aizamk's gold, gathering out of these chests of coin, and he's picked off a couple of villages as well. He's done a bit of damage, but only a little now. One of them does go down. They pick off another Vil. They might just run straight on top of the pikes here, so Routeline taking the best of steps there because he's going to lose a couple of Krabat for free, so Aizamk going to be able to try and pick off some more now. He's keeping the crossbowman close by. Trying to single out Krabat and just take them down. Not to get too much overkill because he can get his pikes on the low ones and take them out quite quickly. It looks like Routeline's going to be able to disengage, but well, this is nice. Some of Aizamk's other crossbows are already out here to inflict a bit more damage. So Routeline slinking back home now. He's added a barracks behind this, and he's adding some Pavisiers now. More Krabat on the way. He's content actually to sit in commerce for the minute because he's made it tough for Aizamk to get all the way to Fortress himself. A little bit off in terms of the food. That commandery going down. Sort of denying any attempt to go for pressure with hussars. Gonna have a nice unit to try and snipe all these skirmishes off. The Chavones and now the Pavisiers, which are Routeline's own crossbow unit. So a good old-fashioned trade here with one player raiding with cavalry against another player pushing out with his infantry. So Routline can lose a couple of Vils here, but he should be able to garrison. Well, Aizamk, same, he's got pikes here to defend, so once Routeline's denied quite a bit of initial gathering time, he's actually got to get out of here and try and come home and mop this up. He might be able to get a good surround on Aizamk's army here, and maybe finally deal with the proxy base. So Aizamk adding some sentinels, sort of like the musket unit for Maltese, or Routeline adding more and more Krabat to his composition because the crossbows, while they at least have the range engagement, I do think the Krabat win the straight up fight. Although if they go down being kited and picked off like that, it's obviously a big blow because they're a much more expensive unit than an individual crossbow. So Routeline, I'm going to try and disengage and have them support all the anti-cav infantry here. So these guys, the Sentinels, actually quite reasonable in melee as well. A little bit stronger than the Pavisiers. At range, these guys are a bit stronger than the Bowmen, but it looks like Aizamk managing to really slow down Routeline and close the initial gap he got himself here. Now Routeline turning Aizamk, forcing him to have to try and kite. More Krabat going down, so these are a big blow. Individual deaths of these guys, it's so expensive compared to anything else out in the field at the moment. These Sentinels are a little bit more expensive than the crossbows. So Aizamk going to add German tongue now, so he's going to be able to go for that commandery for free now. There is some Krabat here to piss him off, and he is going to add the dance hall. So Routeline is hot on the heels of Aizamk at the moment. So I'm going to retreat with all this infantry, so the Krabat will be able to take another couple of shots, but when they overstep like that, they can get picked off because the infantry aren't there to support them. So Aizamk going to train Krabat of his own. He's got German tongue shipment now, so he's going to be able to add that commandery, so he can have melee cavalry in the midst as well. Krabat production, he's going to be able to try and counter the Krabat production of Routeline here. Got some Krabat out in the field for Aizamk. They clean up the ones Routeline's had here on guard. No raiding attempt for you. So Aizamk having to try and defend at home with the bulk of his army really for the, I guess, the first time in the game. And so aggressive so far, but now Routeline, who to his credit has done an awful lot of raiding here, and he's kept Aizamk from pushing with everything before. Now it's Routeline's turn to repay the favour. A lot of infantry being massed up now by Aizamk, but they're going to be a way away, and he's only going to have one Krabat popping out to defend here. So Aizamk going to have to try and garrison Vils into the TC without losing too many. Actually try and ward these guys off from his base until he can bring some siege in. Or bring in a shitload more units than this. These guys do have a pretty cool attack against the town centers, but I do like the Chinese Chuko new one a little bit more personally. I do still like it though. So a free Lombard attempt here by Routeline, going to be denied. That Architect, the starting one, going to be picked off. He might have to train another one behind this. Is he going to be able to get this finished? Oh, he does. So the Lombard is finished off. You're going to have some forward units in to support the army here for Routeline. He'll be able to get some more Krabat. He's going to ship Aizamk, going to ship Archaic Soldier combat. So really, oh no, just attack. He gets bonus health just because he's Maltese. But Routeline is dealing a lot of damage to Aizamk at the moment. Two Sentinels in tow, and these guys are going to be able to pick up the Krabat, but there's a lot of Paviciers here. There's now some Order Hussar. Aizamk, so he's going to wait till the town center gets a little bit lower first before he engages. Adding a few more units now. He's got a lot of Krabat in the mix. There's Hussar straight on the Pavicier with little here to actually defend them. So this has been a nice defense here from Aizamk. Routeline sending a lot of Krabat in now. These guys should be able to clean up the Hussar, but at what cost? Aizamk really punishing Routeline for overstaying there and not just cleaning up the reserves of army first before he went for the town center sack, or just trying to pick off more villages. Routeline now retreating, trying to train up Krabat behind this. Apple Wall being researched, being shipped now by Aizamk. They have a reasonable amount of health on all these units out of all these shipments. The Maltese units basically do get slight health boosts as the game goes on from all their shipments. To Routeline. Got another Lombard back at home. He's trained up another Architect. And he's going to go for a raid with more Krabat. Try and get some Vil kills here, or force a garrison if you can. The melee range, the villagers don't trade as awfully against them. These guys might actually get cleaned up here by Aizamk's villagers. Last one going to get mopped up there. Aizamk going to have to deal with the fact that there's more Krabat in the way, but he's got enough to deal with this already on the defense. Here trying to push with some sentinels. This is well outside Routeline's TC fire, so you might be able to pinch a house or pick off the architect. Routline instead. Suddenly he's going to have to come back and defend. Architect fleeing for his life at the moment. The villager's not going to be as lucky. So Routline having to contend with the fact that there is sentinels everywhere in his base. He's going to lose that Lombard. And the Krabat don't want to be taking a fight into a counter-cav infantry at range like that. The Krabat going to be able to clean up the sentinel over here. He might be able to pick off one of the Krabat, or the rest might be able to single out the Krabat here for Routline. He's going to have to probably try and get some infantry in the mix if he can. All these food gatherings now been cut short. He's gathering no food, no gold at the moment for Routline. Aizamk, this has been a nice turnaround after his failed initial push. And now he's going to clean up a lot of villages here. He's up to 48 to the 32 of Routline. He's trying to dodge and weave with the Krabat, but it's a tough fight to take against Aizamk's sentinels. But now he's going to be polishing off plenty of them. They do come into melee, and this will actually give them a big advantage against the Krabat, who'd lose, you know, 2/3 of their damage, while the sentinels only are losing like a quarter of the damage. So it's being a much nicer fight for the sentinels to take. Things settle down a little bit, but can Routline manage to stabilize and muster up an army, or is Aizamk going to be able to push him to death from here? Got Guardia di Finanzia. So 575 gold straight into the Italian player's bank at the moment. Aizamk looks like he's going to go to Fortress Age, and he is still in a position where he can actually push. The Hussar coming in to raid all these vills before the outpost is even finished. Meanwhile, there's plenty of sentinels to start sacking buildings back at home, or even pick off a few villagers out trying to build, and GG, Routline forced to tap out.